So I thought I might share my most powerful smoked DMT experience ever. So this one was the most that I've ever done in for smoked. And I used a bong because I usually use like a vaporizer or any sort of light bulb vaporizer, but for this I needed a bong because it was going to be a lot. And the dose was around 120 milligrams, I think. But it was of the purest like crystal that I had. It was recrystallized using like slow evaporation inside the solvent. So the crystals were very, very large and very, very pure and potent. Like, I don't know if you've seen the crystals on the internet, like the shards one. Well, that was what I had. So that was the most potent batch that I've ever had in my life. And I pretty much, I loaded it inside a bong and sandwiched it with weed. So I put like a little bit of weed on top, or a little bit of weed on the bottom, and then I put 120 milligrams of the highest purity stuff in the middle, and then put more weed on top. So the bong was like a straight sort of shooter. So it, there wasn't a lot of filtration. So I got most of it in. So I ended up hitting it in one toke, so it all went through, and that experience sort of, it was different from any other DMT experience that I had. Like, normally a DMT trip sort of feels like I'm being shot into my own like subconscious, and it's incredibly vivid and powerful and beautiful. But this felt different. This felt like I was somewhere else actually. Like, my impression was right when I smoked it, like well, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it felt like this. When I smoked it, I felt like I got abducted right at that moment. Like aliens sort of, waited for me to smoke my bowl, and then they abducted me. And when I can't remember if I closed my eyes or anything, but all I remember is I woke up in this highly pulsing and extremely energetic room. And I remember it was very geometry like it was I felt like I was in some sort of hyperspatial TARDIS from Doctor Who. Like, it felt like I was on a spaceship of some sort, but it was like, it was a non-corporeal spaceship. It was like, you can't have a physical body inside this spaceship, but I felt it was moving, and I felt like it was an actual place, and it was completely different from any other DMT trip I had. I didn't even think it was a DMT trip, but immediately there was this entity in front of me, and it was like, it was obviously an alien, and it was very intimidating, and I when I had the trip, I drew a little sketch of what I saw, because that's what I always do whenever I have a DMT trip. I always draw like a little bit of a sketch of it, just to make sure that it's in my mind, so that I can make an art piece from that sketch. So basically it was like, it wasn't a stick figure like that, but it had some weird sort of, it was crouching a bit too, and it showed me some incredibly intricate object. Like, it was here. It looks like that thing. It was like a ball that had spiraling things on it, and he would go like this, and then he would rev it. So he would open his hands like this, and it would go like a wheel or something, and then all these trails would rev in unison in some sort of Fibonacci sequence, and I thought it was trying to show me something. But what was really strange after this was, after it showed me that object, it pretty much cut me in half. Like, it felt like I was the assistant in one of those magician acts where they put the guy on the table, and then they saw you in half, and then they take the two halves apart. Well, he basically did that to me, and I felt incredible pressure on my abdomen, and it felt like someone was crushing me. And then I saw I felt my body split into two, and it was it said as long as I focus on that object, I wouldn't feel the pain, and it was like it was showing me like some new version of that trick where you're actually cutting the person in half, but as long as they don't focus on the pain of it, or the anxiety and the fear of it, then it doesn't affect them physically or emotionally. Or at least that's what I felt. I mean, all in all, it was incredibly intense and scary experience. I don't recommend anyone going that deep into DMT, but after that experience, like I can't really say what exactly the place is. Like, you know, when people say, "Oh, you're actually getting abducted, or you're actually meeting beings," like I thought that maybe they might be some subconscious projections of me, but like that experience sort of it throws doubt into that explanation, because it was so incredibly real, and it didn't feel like it was a hallucination at all. But then I remember opening my eyes, and then there was a bunch of drawings, like doodles on my desk, and all those doodles basically came to life, and they were all moving, and everything was incredibly, you know, like it was some of the craziest open-eyed visual effects that I've had in a very, 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 very long time. And you know, I've never had another DMT smoke trip like that. I've had incredibly intense oral DMT experiences that I'll go into other videos, but this one was by far the most intense smoked experience, and it really, I can really understand now why people think that all alien abduction experiences are just endogenous DMT floods, because literally if I didn't know that I smoked DMT, I would have thought 100% that I was abducted, and I still don't know if I know, you know, rationally you're supposed to say, yeah, it was just a hallucination, but like it was just so real. It was so vivid, and I felt like I went somewhere. It wasn't like another DMT trip. Like, it was different. It was so, I don't know. Like, it's like the deeper you go into it, the crazier it gets, and you know, some people I don't think could handle how crazy it gets, because it's literally like death. Like being abducted it triggers the most sort of primal fears inside people. Like, you know, people always fantasize about wanting to be abducted, but when it actually is happening, like you want it to be over. You want it. You don't want it to keep happening. You're afraid and you're terrified. You can't sort of fix those feelings. It's ingrained in you. It's any sort of exposure to something that's so unknown to you is going to be extremely frightening. And you know, that was a testament to that sort of theory, and it's true. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to handle, you know, if I was abducted by an alien or something like that. Like, I would be freaking out, and that experience felt like that, and I was pretty much freaking out. Like, I kept my cool, but it's not something that, you know, you can endure all the time. But, you know, if anyone else had sort of similar experiences, I'd love to hear them, because, you know, I'm starting to I've thought for a while now that this experience is more than just a hallucination. But I mean, I'd love for there to be evidence of that. But you know, only time will tell. So yeah, have a great day, guys.